how can candidates stand out, and what do veterans need to do to give themselves the best chance of getting that first interview?
Yeah. To be honest, it is difficult for anybody to stand out, and that's how I'd like to start the premise. In terms of, from an internal perspective, we have applicant tracking systems. So when you see a role on, say, LinkedIn, you apply to that, that will come through to a system, and we can obviously record who's coming through. We're in a situation that it's so easy to apply for roles that we literally get thousands upon thousands of applications. And going from there, it is very difficult to stand out. So if we have, for example, in my team, we would have various recruiters. They would work on a specific role. CVs would obviously come through to them, and they will review the CVs, work with the hiring managers, and then obviously move people forward to a screening call, to interview, to final interview. So the challenge initially is to get past that first screen. And when you are going through volumes, it's hard. I think there's been a lot of work done, it's fair to say, from resettlement groups and the military, working at CVs, really trying to level the language to ensure that you're taking the amazing military experience you've got and put it into civilian context. And if I just give examples here, a lot of it is around, it's about data points, it's about delivery targets, about what you've managed to achieve. Obviously, if you're sitting in a civilian world, you're going to be talking about revenue or cost save, and that's harder to do within a military context. So wherever possible, aligning that language. It's also very important to have a very clear CV. If I think of the resumes that were best, obviously name, contact details, summary, that summary is absolutely key. No more than 3 to 4 lines, absolute maximum, and try and make it as specific as possible. Obviously, we're amazing, we're focused, we're high achievers, but a dedicated individual who has achieved the following, blah, blah, very, very specific points. Then I would always put education up there as well. And then looking at your last experience. The big thing to do with CV, and I'll be honest, covering letters in the main are not used anymore. Some companies require them. Don't waste time in the covering letter. The bit that's going to sell you is going to be your CV. So making sure that it's really concise. So when, for example, myself or one of my team open up, they can see exactly what you've been doing and also the relevance to the role you're applying for. So for example, if you're applying to a role in compliance, you may not have had specific compliance experience, but you're using language around working in a team. I've ensured the following procedures, policies, etc. have been adhered to. So you're putting that language in. You may not be able to use the actual wording, but it's very, very clear. So that's from the CV perspective, just being very, very focused. And I can't emphasize enough, please do tailor CVs to individual roles, because your CV is your first port of call.